All right, guys, good morning. So today is going to be a problem-solving day. First off, look at how gorgeous it is out here. Look at all this snow. Charlene's covered right now. I had to dust everything off the hood in order to get into the engine bay. So what has happened is I've gone through 2 batteries and an alternator trying to figure out why my batteries keep dying. I thought I had a bad battery, and then that one died. So I thought maybe, after I replaced that one, maybe I got a bad one from the factory. It happens. Took that one back. They tested it, checked the alternator, which they checked it the first time and told me it was fine. Second time, told me that my alternator was no good. So dropped 120 bucks and got this beautiful girl right there. And it was good. This was right before Christmas. And then after Christmas, my car died again. So I hung out at O'Reilly's the other day for probably an hour, just trying to figure out what could possibly be going on. And they told me that it could be a starter. Apparently, when a starter goes bad, it can have a power draw that goes on when the car's off. And so today, we are going to pull out this bad boy right here. I bought a multimeter. I'm gonna try not to fry anything because I don't know what I'm doing. But we're gonna pull that and we're gonna see if I can see a power draw. And we're gonna see what happens. So stay tuned. Let's hope I don't ruin my car even worse. Okay. Hey guys, Future James here. So in this clip, I have zero idea what I'm doing. I was super excited because I bought my multimeter. I thought I was gonna troubleshoot and diagnose and be a technician. I have no clue. Look, I'm fumbling with wires. I am a fool. So everything you're gonna see in this clip, do not take it to heart. I'm testing things. I have no idea how they work. I'm gonna look at the relay and look at a part of it and assume that because it looks different, something went wrong. And I'm gonna sound really confident when I say it. And you should not take it to heart. I have no clue what I'm doing at this point. I did a ton of research before doing later segments of this video. So as far as this bit goes, just kind of watch it, laugh at me because I'm laughing at myself right now, and enjoy the rest of the video. Okay. So, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but you see this prong right here? Let me get this a little more in focus. See that prong? See how nice and shiny it is? Look at that one. See that color change? That tells me that something got a little cooked, and it's probably causing my power draw. So this will be a fun day. Okay, so it's definitely the starter on my car. That's the issue. But I'm not doing that today because it is super duper snowy outside, and I'm not going to be rolling around on the super cold ground, and it's going to be a humongous pain to do that starter. It's underneath. I got to jack it up, all this jazz. I don't want to do that. So instead, I have this to-do list right here, and we're going to knock things out on that. I have to order a bank card and class stuff and super fun adulting stuff. So, woohoo! Okay, so I think I got the car thing figured out. My buddy Peyton took it to a shop, bought a new starter. He's putting it in for me. About to go pick it up. Lindsay's gonna give me a lift over there, and hopefully that fixes it. He said he was gonna give it a good once over and check it out, make sure there's nothing else wrong. He also said he was going to run a Carfax on it, so I'm interested to see how some of the body damage got there. But stay tuned and we'll see if it fixed it. Alright guys, sorry about there not being any light in here, but I got the key. See how she does. Beautiful. Look at that. Came right on. Now, here's hoping that it stays on. We'll see. I'm gonna leave it just hanging out tomorrow. That was a little concerning. But I'm gonna leave it tomorrow and we'll see what she does. So If there's any updates, it's not gonna be good, I'll tell you that much. But until then, catch you guys later. All right, time for the real test. So Charlene has been sitting for, how long has it been? A day? I got her back last night. You're not gonna be able to see anything in here, but let's see if she starts. If she starts, the power draw should be fixed. Teacher James again, it definitely was not fixed. We got lights. We got 12 volts on the battery. Alright guys, so she started and my car runs and the battery wasn't dead, and I think I got this whole thing figured out. So shout out to my buddy Peyton. He did a phenomenal job, helped me out a ton replacing the starter and doing it for an incredible deal. Okay, hopefully that keeps up. Hopefully that was the power draw and there's not one somewhere else that I don't know about yet. But we'll see where it goes from here. Updates if anything ever changes. So we are continuing the saga of my car not wanting to stay charged. So we're gonna go bust out the multimeter and we're gonna work on Charlene, and we're gonna try and figure out why my car keeps dying, because it has been over a month now this has been going on. I've replaced the starter, I've replaced the alternator, I've replaced the battery, I've replaced a ton of different things on my car to no avail. I thought I had it figured out by replacing the starter, but we're gonna see what actually is the issue today. We're gonna pull fuses, we're gonna do all of the stuff that I have not wanted to do, that I probably should have started off with doing. We're gonna figure out why this bad boy doesn't stay charged. So here we go. All right, so the first thing you wanna do is you wanna have your multimeter set to ohms. It can be pretty much anywhere within the ohms range. Then we're gonna take our leads and we're gonna touch them. And we're gonna check. I'm not touching them now, we're touching them now. We wanna make sure that this gets pretty close to 0. Maybe this is happening because I have this up in the air. 1 second. All right, so we got these touching and I'm moving them. It's pretty low, it's about 0. So that's just to make sure that we don't have anything funky going on with these leads. This is a good habit to get into if you guys are gonna be working with anything electrical. You don't want anything you're working on to not represent itself appropriately because your leads are messed up. Leads are cheap, you can always go buy more. You just don't want to get halfway through a project and realize that your leads were messed up, and that's why you weren't getting the results you wanted. Okay, so now I have it set to DC volts, and we have a positive connection, a negative connection, and it should be rocking around. That's what I thought, 12.1. We should be looking at more closer to 12.6. Oh, moving a little bit. So I know I have a draw, so this doesn't surprise me. But now we're gonna get this set up a little more skookum, and we're gonna start pulling fuses and see what happens. So, all right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to take the negative lead off of our batteria. You can do this with the positive lead as well. But I don't like to do it. I'd rather do the negative. If I ground this out, I'm just grounding a ground to a ground. But grounding a positive lead to a ground could short something, something could blow, and we want to avoid that if at all possible. All right, so as you might be able to tell, we're now at 10 amps right here on my multimeter. I'm going to take the positive lead and hook it to the negative pole on the battery. Then I'm going to take the negative lead and connect the jump to the negative cable. And if I can stop moving around so much. All right, and you can see there, we're drawing, well, that jumps up a lot. Negative 4.5 amps, so that's the power draw. So we definitely have an issue. Wow, that's way more than I thought it was gonna be. So, what does this mean? Now, you're always going to have a little bit of a draw. Your security system, your radio memory, things like that are always going to pull a little bit of a draw even when your car is off. You should not be drawing 4.5 amps. That's a ton. So I'm going to show you guys how to diagnose that now. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to come in here and we're going to open our fuse box. Now you can see in there fuses, wires. Now there is a diagram on this side. So the first thing I'm going to pull is probably that 10 amp right up there in the corner. Now we can look at this. That is going to be for the heating and AC. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get my handy dandy little fuse puller and we're going to grab that. Oh, come on. Pull it straight out. So here we have the one from that first position, that empty 10 amp slot. And we're going to come back over here to our little workstation, which is an absolute mess. Make sure that's powered on. And we're going to check it again. So again, positive lead goes to the negative terminal of the battery. Negative lead goes to that. Wiggle things around. And as you guys can probably see, we're still sitting at about 4.5. So we know that is not the issue. So we're going to put that fuse back in and we're going to sit here and we're going to pull fuses one by one for however long it takes until I find the thing that decreases the drop. And that's going to be how we troubleshoot to figure out where the issue is, and from there we get to find the issue itself. So this is going to be a long process. Alright, so we pulled the fuses in there, couldn't find the issue. Here's the next step. All these beautiful fuses. Look at how many there are. I'm gonna be here all day. Here we go. All right, gentlemen, I believe we have a development. As you can see, we're sitting here. We're at 4.5, right? Now watch this. Take out this wee little 15 amp fuse there. Let's check again. and we're getting up to 2.4-ish. That's progress. Now we know right around 2 maybe. So that dropped 2.5 amps. So I'm gonna pull the rest of these fuses, see if anything else changes, see if maybe we have 2 wires shorted, and we're gonna go from there. But that's progress. There's your update. All right, gentlemen, another development. As you guys should be able to see, we're at 0. I pulled that one 15 amp fuse, and now we're popping up to, we're at 2.4 still. Way too high. Now, if I pull this 15 amp fuse, watch what happens. We're at 1.4, 1.38, and now we're sitting right at about 1. So now we know those 2 things were issues. I see one of them is the radio, which I have an aftermarket radio. Now it's been in there for a couple years, so I don't understand why it's just now causing an issue, but we're gonna have to tear the dash apart and find that. The next one is CTSY LP, so I'm gonna have to look up what exactly that one goes to, but we're gonna keep pulling fuses, see if we can get that 1 amp, because that's still way too high. It should be, you know, sitting at between 7 and 12 milliamps. Okay, so we're going back up. What is happening with you, Charlene? Yeah, so with this, I'm gonna say we're sitting at about 1. So we're gonna keep pulling fuses, and we're gonna see if we can find wherever the rest of this draw is coming from. Stay tuned for that. All right, so another update. As you can see, we're sitting here at a draw right at even out. We're sitting here at a draw of about 1 amp, right? Okay, check this out though. Here's a little party trick for you. Pull this fuse, and now watch the magic here, boys. Ooh, big spark. 0.7. Now that's what we're looking for. Up to 11, up to 12, 11. Okay, still that's within the range. I'm gonna pull the rest of the fuses and just make sure there's nothing else, but that's about what we're looking for. So we found 3 15 amp fuses. Let's see, we got CTSYLP, we got SEO1, and we got my radio, which I kind of figured might have something to do with it. So I'm gonna keep pulling fuses, see if we can get this below 11 or 12, and I'll check back in and let y'all know what happens. Gentlemen, good morning. That was loud. Today is tomorrow, and I think I may have figured out the car issue. As we discussed, I pulled those 3 fuses, and it gave me a huge, that is gonna be terrible audio. I pulled the 3 fuses, and there was a huge drop in my voltage draw, or amp draw, excuse me. And so we're just gonna let that sit. Now, as you can tell, I have torn apart my dash. I have unplugged my radio. There's the part of my dash sitting there, the tools and such, as you do when you're troubleshooting such an issue. Now here's how this is gonna go until I figure out exactly which fuse it was, because like I said, there were 3. I'm going to leave my radio unplugged, leave those fuses out. We are going to park the car today, being Monday, and then we are going to wait until Tuesday. Now when I get up here and I park the car, I'm going to check the battery, see how much juice is in it. Probably check it right before I leave, actually, because right now I'll be driving there, and as soon as I park, it'll be overcharged. All the good stuff that comes with driving and batteries and such. But we're gonna do that. I'm gonna check it throughout the next 36 hours, 48 hours. And then from there, we are going to start adding things back. The first thing I'm gonna add back is my courtesy lamp fuse, because I don't enjoy not having interior lights. It's kind of a pain. And then we're gonna do the same thing, let it sit for a day and a half, 2 days, see what kind of draw there is on it. We're probably leaving out the SEO fuse. My car was equipped with OnStar when it was manufactured. but as you can tell, I took OnStar out. But that was having some sort of draw, so I'm interested to see what that is, and if I just leave the fuse out, if I lose anything majorly important in that. But, and then the last thing is the radio, which I'm probably just going to go and buy a new Radiohead, the band. So, stay tuned for that, and we'll see what we can get done here, boys.